I became insane, with long intervals of horrible sanity. Edgar Allan Poe. Oh, yeah, the past can hurt. But the way I see it, you can either run from it or learn from it. Rafiki. Happiness in intelligent people is the rarest thing I know. Ernest Hemingway. Fear has two meanings. Forget everything and run, or face everything and rise. The choice is yours. Source unknown. Do not mistake me for my mask. You see light dappling on the water and forget the deep, cold, dark beneath. Patrick Rothfuss. You will never reach your destination if you stop and throw stones at every dog that barks. Winston Churchill. If people knew how hard I worked to get my mastery, it wouldn't seem so wonderful at all. Michelangelo. I used to think the worst thing in life was to end up all alone. It's not. The worst thing in life is to end up with people that make you feel all alone. Robin Williams. The darkest places in hell are reserved for those who maintain their neutrality in times of moral crisis. Dante Alighieri. Being honest may not get you many friends, but it'll always get you the right ones. John Lennon. A friend to all is a friend to none. Aristotle. Don't be with someone that makes you happy. Be someone that makes you happy. Source unknown. No one ever steps in the same river twice, for it's not the same river, and they're not the same person. Source unknown. He who fights with monsters should look to it that he himself does not become a monster, and when you gaze long into an abyss, the abyss also gazes into you. Friedrich Nietzsche. If you can't explain it simply, you don't understand it well enough. Albert Einstein. Sometimes people don't want to hear the truth because they don't want their illusions destroyed. Friedrich Nietzsche. If I tell you I'm good, you would probably think I'm boasting. If I tell you I'm no good, you know I'm lying. Bruce Lee. The master has failed more times than the beginner has even tried. Stephen McCraney. Getting over a painful experience is much like crossing the monkey bars. You have to let go at some point in order to move forward. C.S. Lewis. You need to let your anger out, not by punching people or using bad language. Use your anger to get your dreams to come true. Don't hold back, because then one day you're going to explode or burst. So run 5 miles, write a song, dance as if you won't have legs the next day. Be free, feel free. S.R. People are like steel. When they lose their temper, they lose their worth. Chuck Norris. Want me to go somewhere and fight for you? You won't even stand up for me right here in America for my rights and my religious beliefs. You won't even stand up for me right here at home. Muhammad Ali. Man is least himself when he talks in his own person. Give him a mask, and he will tell you the truth. Oscar Wilde. There are 3 things all wise men fear: the sea and storm, a night with no moon, and the anger of a gentle man. Patrick Rothfuss. Normal is the wrong name often used for average. Henry S. Haskins. Tell people there's an invisible man in the sky who created the universe and the vast majority will believe you. Tell them the paint is wet and they have to touch it to be sure. George Carlin. Crocodiles are easy. They try to kill and eat you. People are harder. Sometimes they pretend to be your friend first. Steve Irwin. He who has a why to live can bear almost any how. Nietzsche. A person who views the world the same at 50 as they did at 20 has wasted 30 years of their life. Muhammad Ali. Expectation is the root of all heartache. William Shakespeare. Pi is an infinite non-repeating decimal, meaning that every possible number combination exists somewhere in pi. Converted into ASCII text, somewhere in that infinite string of digits is the name of every person you will ever love, the date, time, and manner of your death, and the answers to all the great questions of the universe. Source unknown. I think the saddest people always try their hardest to make people happy, because they know what it's like to feel absolutely worthless, and they don't want anybody else to feel like that. Robin Williams. Are these things really better than the things I already have? Or am I just trained to be dissatisfied with what I have now? Chuck Palahniuk. Before the truth can set you free, you need to recognize which lie is holding you hostage. Source unknown. The best argument against democracy is a 5-minute conversation with the average voter. Sir Winston Churchill. Above all, don't lie to yourself. The man who lies to himself and listens to his own lie comes to a point that he cannot distinguish the truth within him or around him, and so loses all respect for himself and for others. And having no respect, he ceases to love. Fyodor Dostoevsky. If you love a flower, don't pick it up. Because if you pick it up, it dies, and it ceases to be what you love. So if you love a flower, let it be. Love is not about possession. Love is about appreciation. Osho. How lucky I am to have something that makes saying goodbye so hard. Winnie the Pooh. Most people are other people. Their thoughts are someone else's opinions, their lives a mimicry, their passions a quotation. Oscar Wilde. A smooth sea never made a skilled sailor. Source unknown. There is only one way to avoid criticism. Do nothing, say nothing, and be nothing. Aristotle. Never argue with stupid people. They will drag you down to their level and then beat you with experience. Mark Twain. The trouble is, you think you have time. Buddha. No matter how much you think you love somebody, you'll step back when the pool of their blood edges up too close. Chuck Palahniuk. I mean, they say you die twice. One time when you stop breathing, and a second time a bit later on, when somebody says your name for the last time. Banksy. Isn't it funny how day by day nothing changes, but when you look back, everything is different? C.S. Lewis. When faced with two choices, simply toss a coin. It works not because it settles the question for you, but because in that brief moment when the coin is in the air, you suddenly know what you are hoping for. Source unknown. Live a good life. If there are gods and they are just, then they will not care how devout you have been, but will welcome you based on the virtues you have lived by. If there are gods but unjust, then you should not want to worship them. If there are no gods, then you will be gone, but will have lived a noble life that will live on in the memories of your loved ones. Marcus Aurelius.